All right, so let's get to the painting part. This video is for those who are interested in painting your interior and want to know exactly how to do it where you got the maximum adhesion and you don't have to do this again the next week. So this is my process to get my panels ready and rock and roll. So this way I can have the best look, not only the best look, but the maximum adhesion. Okay, this is extremely important because I used to do cosplay. Okay, and one of my biggest issues was having all kinds of weird effects happening with my paint because I was rushing the prepping process. I was rushing it because I wanted to get to the paint because that's the fun part, right? You want to see the finished product. But you cannot rush this process. This process is the most important part before your paint, okay? You have to make sure you get all the contaminants out of your piece before you start to paint because you're going to cause adhesion issues. You might also have weird effects like fish eyes and rainbow effects and stuff like that that happens in your paint or your end product because you rush this process. So if you are painting your interior panels, you have to understand these pieces have a whole shit ton of stuff on it. It might be Armor All or any other type of waxes and sealants that you might have on the panel, excuse me, that will resist the biting of the paint. So you want to clean all that off. And the best way I found that is not too harsh to your pieces is to use Simple Green. This is an all-purpose cleaner, and I've used this for years. This works very well with cleaning off your panels, cleaning off your pieces, whatever. It's all purpose. It's very, very mild. You can use it on just about anything and it won't hurt it. So that's why I like this. It cuts straight through all the grease, all the buildup, all that gut, that muck gut stuff that might be on your piece, and it gets it clean. So this is what I do. I will spray it down, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, let it work, and then I will use soapy water and wash the piece thoroughly. And depending on how old it is or whatever, you might want to do this 2 or 3 times before you finally decide, okay, it's clean. So because this is a 30-year car, I washed every panel at least 3 times in my bathtub. So I went ahead, sprayed it down, let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, cleaned it up with soapy water, sprayed it down with some water, and then I did it all over again 2 more times. That's how I got this to be clean as possible. The next step is to hit it with some isopropyl alcohol. I use 70%. You can use 91% or 50% if you like. This is the one I use because it's nice median. It's not too harsh like the 91%, and it's not way too mild like the 50%. So I go with the 70%. You can go with either one you want. It's up to you, whatever you got laying around your house, but this is the one that I use. So when you're using this, you want to make sure the panels are pretty much dry, okay? You don't want to do this when it's still wet. It's just not you're going to waste your time doing that way. You want the panels to be dry. And you douse it pretty damn good with the little tap thing. And you just douse it up there. Use a brand new microfiber towel. Do not use the one you just got out the wash. Here's why. One, the wash don't remove all the stuff that's in your microfiber towel. Okay? I have had this problem happen to me before where I took a towel right out of the dryer and I went ahead and started wiping it down clean, and then I start spraying my paint, and next thing you know, boom, fish eye. And I'm like, how in the hell did I get that? Well, the reason why I got that is because the microfiber towel still had residue inside the fibers. So use a brand spanking new microfiber towel to use when you're cleaning it down with the alcohol. Do not use a pre-used microfiber towel. I don't care how clean you think it is. You may be dead wrong. So just use a brand new one and call it a day. All right. They're cheap as hell. And let me tell you something. I'd rather use a brand new one, right? And just use the old ones for whatever purpose I like to use, whether it's to soak up water or whatever the hell, and use the old ones for that, then use it on what I'm about to paint. Okay? Believe me, it's going to save you a lot more time, because if you get a fish eye, you're going to have to do that whole goddamn thing all over. And trust me, it friggin' sucks. So just use a brand spanking new microfiber towel. It will save you time. Now, after you wipe it down, right, you want to put on some gloves because your hands have all kinds of oils and stuff like that. Just to be safe, put on some gloves before when you're wiping this stuff down. Okay, don't wipe it down with your bare hands, because again, you might put some oils in there that you might get another weird effect. So use gloves. All right, use some latex gloves or whatever the hell, the ones that don't have the powder. Don't use those, but whatever glove that you want, as long as it doesn't have any residue on the actual glove, that will be fine. Use a brand new microfiber towel, wipe it down with some alcohol, and then it's time to hit it with adhesion promoter. Now, this is the adhesion promoter that I use. This is the model number if you need it, because I'm not sure if in your area you have issues with getting to the shop, because a lot of shops around where I'm at is closed. So you might have to go to Amazon and get this because of the virus nonsense. So here's the model number or the item number for you, just for your convenience. But this is the adhesion promoter that I use. It's from Rustoleum. Very simple. This is a clear. And all you do is just like you're using any old spray paint, you want to be about 4 inches away, 3 to 4 inches away, and you want to hit it. Boom, 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 boom. And you do that 2 or 3 times. Okay. You don't have to go way thick with this, but don't go too thin. You definitely want to have like a nice coat on it. Do it 2 or 3 times, wait about 5, possibly 10 minutes in between coats, and you do it once over, as many times as you like, but 3 is more than enough. Okay, so after you've done that, now you want to go to your base coat. Now, let me just stop right here and say this. If you're doing a resto job to your Fox body, or any other car that you like, I highly recommend you go to the factory dyes. All right. LMR has some really good stuff, and they have the factory colors for your convenience there. Yes, it's like 3 times the money, but you will get the color match perfect on your factory resto build. All right. You don't want to use this because it's not going to be perfect. All right. It's close, but it won't be perfect. 2, their dyes are going to last forever on the car. This may last me 5, 6 years. Depending on the fact that I prepped it so well, it might last me a little bit longer than that, but eventually this will start to degrade, flake off, and whatever. And I'll have to probably do it again. But about that time, I'll probably do something else with the car. This is just for right now. But at the end of the day, you don't want to use this. You want to use the high quality stuff from LMR, or go to your local car shop, not local car shop, but you want to go to the factory and see if you can get the factory colors or the factory dyes and go that route. Again, you don't have to, but if you're trying to resto your car, you want like a show car, I will highly recommend do not use this. Use the factory stuff or the LMR stuff. It's way better paint, okay? But that's not what I'm doing, so I use this, all right? So this is the model number if you want to use this particular paint. This is flat black, and this is the effect or the look that you're going to get with the flat black duplicolor. This stuff right here. And I think it looks excellent. Now, keep in mind, this was all gray. I'm going to try to put a picture of what it was before. And this is the after. Okay, right in this area or whatever. But that is what you're going to end up with if you do it with this. Okay, so what you do when you're spraying this on your panels, you want to go light coats. Okay, heavy coats, no. Light coats, yes. Because this right here is going to trap the dust particles that comes out of your paint if you do it the way that most people try to do and do it one coat real quick. Now, don't do that. Just take your time, do light coats. It doesn't matter if it takes 7 or 8 light coats to get this effect. It works. And the reason why I say go light coats, not only will you get all this nonsense, you see all that? You see all this? This is dry paint that get airborne and falls onto your panel or whatever you're painting. All right. You can't avoid this. This is going to happen. So you want to go light coats so you can take a microfiber towel and wipe off the dust in between your coats. Okay. That's why you want to go light. It will help with adhesion. It will help the dye dry and flash dry much quicker, so you can go ahead and wipe it down with a microfiber towel to get all that residue off, because it's going to have like a little texture. This stuff leaves like a texture on your panel, and the microfiber towel is going to grab onto whatever that stuff is, the dirt and dust and all that stuff, and pull it off of the paint, and the paint will be much smoother, and then you can go ahead, hit it with your next coat. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter if it takes 7 or 8 coats to do this. This is what you want to do if you want a high quality, long lasting finish. All right, so definitely take your time and do it the way I'm telling you. Believe me, this is going to save you so much headache in the future. All right, so light coats. Wait 10 to 15 minutes between coats if you like. It's up to you. Take a microfiber towel, wipe it down. Now, the microfiber towel does not have to be wet. It could be a little damp if you want. You could probably like spritz it real quick with some water or some alcohol if you want. And then that will help take the dust off of the panel. But if you don't want to do that, you don't necessarily have to. I personally try to make it a little damp where you see a streak real quick that quickly flash dry right after you go over the panel with the microfiber towel, and that will help get all that stuff. And you could be pretty aggressive with it, because if you do it the proper way, this paint is not going to pull off. It's going to grip onto the panel very, very well, and you don't have to worry about messing it up. That's another reason why you don't want to go too thick or too heavy, because then it won't flash dry under it and you'll mess up the paint. So definitely go ahead and rock with that the way I said it. You will have so much of a better finish if you do it that way. Okay, so you can do that with all these pieces. All right, you can do that with all these pieces, and believe me, it's going to show up very well. Now, this is right here. This was different. I didn't use, well, I did use spray paint. I just didn't use the rattle can to spray it on. What I did was, for those, is I used my airbrush. All right, I decanted the can and poured the paint inside this jar. You can get this from anywhere. Hobby Lobby is where I got these, but you could put that paint in here. There's a whole bunch of videos on how to decant paint and how to minimize, spillage and spray overs and all that other stuff. But I've been doing this for a very long time, so I know how to do it with no problem. I don't even get it to spray anymore. But I'm gonna try to put a video link in the description for you for how to decant paint if that's what you want to do. This is flat black paint from Rustoleum. It is a primer slash paint, and it also adheres to plastic. So that's the paint that I use. I'm going to see if I can put a picture of that in the description. I cut it up and threw away, so I don't have the actual can. But the reason why I'm coming here to let you know about this is that this is thin enough to put straight through your airbrush. You don't have to cut this with anything. You don't have to thin it out or anything like that. This is perfectly fine to just put straight through your airbrush. I only recommend that you heat this up a little bit. Go and run some hot water and let this sit in there for 5 to 10 minutes to heat up the paint before you start to use your airbrush or to run it through your airbrush. This will give you, this will help it get through the airbrush without drying, okay? Because you'll have, the dry paint hit the freaking piece, and you don't want that. So the reason why I use this instead of the spray can is because to get in all these little pieces, because I didn't take this apart, I just left it like this. To get through all these pieces, you got to get really fine in there, and with the airbrush you can control the flow of paint. So that's why I use that. You don't have to do this. You can do whatever. I just like to do my work as professional as I possibly can without being professional. But that's how I did it. So if you look, there's a little bit of gray still showing through, and I might hit this one more time before I install it back into my car. But I did a pretty damn good job considering that I was drunk when I did this. So I think I did a pretty good job. I'm going to also use one of these markers. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. Okay, I'm going to use one of these Sharpie markers right here, and I'm going to hit these pieces, that part and make that red, and also the tab right here that goes on. Let me see if I can get it. There you go. That right there, make that red. And I'm going to use this Sharpie to do that. All right. Now, I've never used these before, so I'm not sure how this is going to come out, but it looks like it's going to come out pretty good. This is oil based, so it should be all right. And it should match well with this. That's about it, I guess. Oh, let me just show you the paint that I did use for this. This is the paint that I used for these. Okay, I gotta still go grab the other speaker grills and do those. But this is the paint that I used for that. Let me see if I got a product number for you guys. There's the product number. All right, I did use this at first, right here. But I didn't like it. It was too flat for me. I didn't like that. I wanted the red to have a little bit more of a pop. The black is going to be flat already. So I wanted this to have a little bit more pop. I also got seat belts from, I think, Summit Racing. Let me see here. Yeah, Summit Racing. I got some seat belts. These are the seat belts. And let me see this. What's the thing? Okay. This here matches very well with the paint. So I'm really excited about that because I was afraid. I was a little concerned that I might have to paint these and I didn't really want to, but that's close enough. I'm happy with that. That's going to look really nice with the color scheme that I'm going with. But that's it, man. Hopefully this helps anybody who is interested in doing this. I know this video is long as shit. But believe me when I tell you, if you take your time and prep it right, you're going to be happy with the end result. This is Gary. I'm signing off. You guys have a good one.